I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and you're telling me, please don't worry. There's a lot in this world you should know, and loving life is where you should go.
Goedenavond! Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, tonight we have a really important discussion. Tonight we will be displaying dozens of documents on your screen which demonstrate how the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has effectively captured the global health system, including the World Health Organization. We will be discussing what digital ID companies are driving, for example, ID 2020. What digital ID companies are microchipping humans already? What is the link between vaccine companies and microchip companies? What link exists between digital ID technology and 5G? How is the Book of Revelations, etc., relevant? Before YouTube call this live stream a conspiracy theory and ban the video, I have a message for the CEO. We will be displaying copies of the original documents that anyone can source for themselves. Everything is factual and on the record. The question I always have is, who has the key to unlock the global lockdown? It appears that Gates has paid off key health bodies like the World Health Organization to hold the world's population at ransom. It appears we will remain in some state of lockdown until we accept Gates's patented coronavirus vaccine, which includes a permanent identifiable mark. Now, our guest tonight is Teresa, who has spent thousands of hours compiling the documents you will see tonight. Before I bring Teresa on, please remember to subscribe and ring the bell, because every night at this time we have interesting guests and subjects to cover. Right, let me get Teresa on. Hi Teresa.
Hi Scott, how are you?
Excellent, thank you, excellent. You all set? Got all your documents ready, have you? I've got my set over here.
I've got my laptop here, all ready to go with all the documents. Just adjust.
You look fantastic.
Okay.
You look great. Now, first of all, I just want to start by publicly apologizing to you, Teresa, because as someone who rarely engages in conspiracy theories, I had my doubts about your claims last time we had you on live a few weeks ago. Now, your evidence and your knowledge will unlock some of the health industry's dark secrets. Before we get into the documents, please tell the audience about how you became interested in this topic, your methodology, and how many hours you have been working at it.
First of all, the concept, as I explained in the first interview, conspiracy is to plan. So when we look at it's evidence-based, it's not what people think it is, just to clear that up.
Right.
I look at, I use empirical research methods, looking at primary and secondary evidence, and it's, I guess, probably the best category of research is what I do is called an ethnography. Ethnography is when you look at a topic or an issue or a group of people and you study it objectively. You look at primary evidence and secondary evidence. Primary evidence is basically going to the source of the evidence, empirical research evidence, and looking at it objectively with critical analysis and thinking. I've also been looking at the topic of microchipping and particularly the theological aspects of it for about 10 years. Right. And the coronavirus issue I've been looking at since the government erroneously claimed, and the corporate media started erroneously claiming that this was some sort of new virus, which clearly it isn't.
Right, okay. Now, we're going to be looking at dozens of documents on the screen. Won't see I can see you perfectly though. So you can just hear my voice, that's fine. Okay, now just to tell people who are watching how this is going to work, we're going to start off by talking more about the background to the subject. So we're going to be showing articles and talking about the technical terms. Then we're going to get into the patents, the heavy
Yes.
shifting stuff. So just so people are aware that it is going to start on that sort of basis. Now, let me just get up the first document. Start off with just some background information to the subject. Okay, what I've got on the screen, Teresa, is Biohacking Info 4.
Yes.
Over to you.
That's where the article starts. Okay, this is secondary evidence looking at articles. This is just a basic overview, so let's whisk through this pretty quickly. It says Bill Gates will use microchip implants to fight coronavirus.
Yep.
Go to the next document, 5.
Right.
Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates will launch human implantable capsules that have digital certificates which can show who has been tested for the coronavirus.
Right.
The digital certificates are issued by ID 2020, which will talk overview.
Yeah.
This is not primary evidence. This is what other people have said about this topic. Just an overview.
Carry on.
Digital certificates on page 5.
Yep.
Issued by ID 2020, which there's 5 companies. Microsoft is one of them.
Right, we'll have a look at that just now.
We're going to go have a look at that later.
Yep.
So, so go to number 6.
Yep.
So the digital certificates for the coronavirus, who has been vaccinated against it. And as I said, that's all been driven by ID 2020. We're looking at that later.
Right.
And going down that page, page 6. Your viewers can see these pages?
Yes, they can. Yeah.
This is world-class research we're looking at, by the way, in this interview. So, you know, governments throughout the world should be paying us millions for this, and the viewers get read. So yeah, this is very exciting what we're doing here today, Scott, presenting all this research evidence.
Right.
So straight away they're looking at COVID-19. COVID-19 is, we're not going to look at that in a sense. It's a slang term created by governments and corporate media throughout the world. It's not in the legal documents or anything like that. It's a slang term. It's really code for certificate of vaccination ID. That's what it's code for. So we're looking at the issue of coronavirus. That's the evidence. That's the primary evidence. So just remember that word COVID-19 is a slang term used by governments and corporate media people.
Right.
And it's code for certificate of vaccination ID. Go to the next.
Number 7.
One. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so the digital certificates is all driven by the ID 2020. We'll look at that later. Researchers MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Rice University is in Texas, Houston, and MIT received grants from Bill Gates, the Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation, Medical Foundation research grants. We'll look at those grants later as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this article has looked at some general concepts and very important facts.
Right.
Go to the next one.
Yeah, so we're going to 8. Got it.
8. So Bill Gates calls them quantum dot tattoos. It's the certificates are digital ID certificates, and we'll look at the source of that at the their own website, which is the ID 2020. We'll look at those, how they create it, have an application process,
right,
which they can get companies throughout the world can apply to have access to these digital certificates. 9.
To number 9, yep, got it.
All right, and you see that the writer here is talking about ID 2020 and Bill Gates' involvement in that, which is correct. Microsoft is one of the companies. There are 5. Go to the next page, 10.
I'm just scrolling through the text so people can read it. So we'll just give them a few seconds to read that.
We're just looking at some of the terms at the moment, so which the secondary sources brought up.
Okay, so we'll now go to number 10.
Okay,
I've got it. Yeah. Yep.
So the writer is saying ID 2020 is solving through digital identity. Currently, the most feasible way of implementing digital identity is either through smartphones or RFID microchips. RFID microchips implants, which we'll look at the technical terms next, is RFID stands for radio frequency identification. And another term important is, that'll come up in the literature, is NFC, near field communication.
Right.
So this is a sort of technology they're using to implement the microchip process. The vaccine process will be in the microchip process. That's how they're going to do it. Well, they are already. Right. They have already created a technology for it by the looks of what they've already been working on for many years.
Right.
So this article, page 10, the Gates Foundation has been funding another project that incorporates human implantable microchip implants. Go to the next page.
Right.
11. This project, also spearheaded by MIT, is a birth control microchip implant. And the Gates Foundation gave 3 grants to a company called Microchip's Biotech, who is linked to MIT. That's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. 3 grants. We'll look at those grants as well when we look at the Pirbright grants,
right,
which is the vaccine grants given by the Gates Foundation.
Now Pirbright is completely associated with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, isn't it?
Absolutely. 10 grants were given to Pirbright from 2013 to 2019, totaling about $10 million, and there'll be a little bit of an interactive activity for our viewers.
Right, okay.
We'll show each of the 10 grants, and I'll have to add them up, so get your calculators ready.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going through number 11 here.
So there is talking about the birth control implant that was funded by Gates, and we'll look at that later. And the alliance that ID 2020, that Microsoft has formed, as you can see there, the 5 companies, the founding companies of ID 2020 are Accenture, which is an American company, IDEO, Gavi, that's a vaccine company. Right. IDEO is also involved in vaccines and other services. And the Rockefeller Foundation, which is a centuries-old organisation that...
Now that's
they're global organisations.
That's a disturbing one, seeing the Rockefellers in there.
Yes. We're going to look at all 5 of those founding organisations later on. We have a lot of information on that to present. And the project is supported by the United Nations and has been incorporated into the UN's Sustainable Development. You go to the next page, 12.
Yep, I got it.
United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Initiative. Now, this is where the Globalisation New World Order links come in, because they have documents. The United Nations published documents on their Globalisation New World Order vision. They don't actually call it New World Order, but they call it globalisation, which is the same thing. Right. It's all leading, like the New Testament says, towards the rise of the Antichrist and the mark of the beast, 6, and all this microchipping technology is all driving that as well. It's all very much part of it. Right. And the writer here refers to Christian views and Muslim views, interestingly. Right. And page 12, interesting to see how Bill Gates in 2020 will execute all this, because many Christians and surprisingly a growing number of Shia Muslims are very opposed to the idea of microchipping and any form of body invasive identification technology. Some Christian legislators and politicians in the US have tried to ban all forms of human. Go on to the next.
Not a problem. Okay, so I'm on that one. This follows on from number 12.
Yes.
Okay, over to you.
A lot of people are against lots of forms of human microchipping.
Well, I certainly am.
Religious grounds and other grounds as well. You know, there are other grounds. Then also, just going through what the writer is saying about the coronavirus, but on the other hand, this is Bill Gates' perfect opportunity to see the projects through, because as the coronavirus continues to spread, the more people continue to die, which is erroneous, from the pandemic. The public at large is becoming more open to problem-solving technologies that will contain the spread. Go to the next. The main reason many Christians and some Shiite Muslims are opposed to. Go to the next document.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Okay, got it.
Are opposed to it. Body invasive identification technologies. They believe that such technologies are the so-called mark of Satan, 666, mentioned in the Bible,
right,
particularly in the New Testament, the book of Revelation, also the book of Daniel in the Old Testament. There are a lot of teachings. I've done other videos on this area as well, and I've done an overview, which your viewers can look at another time. And in the book of Revelation, the Bible, anyone who does not have this mark is not allowed to buy or sell anything. We're going to have a look at some of the scripture later as well related to that.
Right, okay.
It's not just buying and selling, well, buying and selling, but, you know, going to the supermarket, going to the doctor, working, travelling, everything.
Right.
So this is a very serious issue for half the world's population.
Right. Because
this is being forced on people who fundamentally believe for religious reasons that this is incredibly evil, which it is, and that's problematic.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we'll go to number 3. Finish off the article.
Okay.
A Denmark-based tech company tried to launch a revolutionary concept, Internet of Things. And when I did research on that, it's actually coming out of Asia, the Internet of Things, and we're going to have a look at documents on that later.
What is the Internet of Things?
We'll have a look at that later.
Okay.
It's basically one of the microchip companies. I've classified it as a microchip company.
Right.
And it's mostly coming out of Asia. We'll have a look at that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Internet of Things powered Microchip Implant after Christian activists attacked its offices in Copenhagen. So they have offices, Internet of Things has offices around the world. It's not Asian created, it's globally created, but they will be the one that mostly stands out in the research is the one from China. Obviously, in Denmark, they tried to open an office, and it's basically a microchip entity, you know, company or a school of thought, if you like, that is being promoted as part of this process, the microchipping process.
Right.
Okay, so we go on to the next article.
We
can zip through this pretty quickly because we want to get to the primary evidence.
Yeah. Are we going to technical terms now?
If we look at go back to the articles folder.
Yeah. And
look at biometric. We'll whisk through these because it's just giving an introduction overview.
Right.
Okay, again, ID 2020 and partners launched programs to provide a digital ID with vaccines. That is, the companies, the founding companies, at least 2 of them are heavily promoting the vaccine issue. So we'll look at those very significant links between the microchipping companies and the vaccine companies, and this ID 2020 is promoting both the microchipping agenda and the vaccine agenda.
Right.
So it's a big one to watch, and people should watch what's happening with this ID 2020 alliance.
Yeah, I've actually got a short video that I'll play of the ID 2020 when we get to the discussion on that, or when we start looking at the documents related to that. Biometric 3?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got
Biometric, yes.
Yeah, I've got it.
They're using the alliance. One of the companies is Gavi, which is a vaccine, 100% about vaccines. They provide, it's mostly vaccines. The other one, IDO, is other services. So if we keep looking at this article, they had test pilot in Bangladesh. They go other countries, mostly poor countries they go into, and they do these projects with vaccines and even digital ID, microchipping.
And people die.
Identification.
And people die as a result of these trial vaccines, don't they?
Look, there's viruses in vaccines. I think in the research it's clear that they're not healthy.
Yeah.
And especially if they make it mandatory, it's invasive to the human rights of people.
Right.
Interestingly, they call this microchip technology a human right as well. So interestingly, they use a similar argument.
Yeah.
But definitely, most of my work is with pharmaceuticals in research in the past has been psychiatric drugging with people, which is a huge monster. And now looking at this vaccine issue, it's a big monster as well.
Right.
It's not, but what they put in it, what they use, they experiment. We'll look at that a bit later as well.
Right.
What they're actually doing with the process, experimenting and analysing the viruses, and really they're viruses and they're not really healthy in my
no, absolutely
professional.
not. Now, do we go to number 4?
The writer just goes through is digital identity is a computerized record of who a person is, stored in a registry. It is used as this case to keep track of who has received vaccination. So they use it for tracking, and it's not just the information of the person. It's used for tracking. It's used by governments. It's used for all sorts of sinister purposes. So
it's for the control of the person.
Yeah, absolute control of the person. And then they even admit in the literature that the person, the human genome, for example, which is the DNA that they study, is used for companies for the purpose of the company. They even admit it in some of the literature. We'll look at that as well later.
Right.
So keep going through this article. A partnership was also formed earlier this year between Gavi, NEC and Simprints to use biometrics to improve vaccine coverage in developing nations. So they're really focused on developing nations, people who maybe not so well educated and all these sorts of areas and issues. It seems like it's a benevolent thing, but I don't think it is a benevolent thing at all.
Right.
Looking at who's driving it and the billions of dollars involved. It's basically funded by the globalists of the world. We look at that as well, some of the figures and the people involved funding this microchipping process and the vaccine process. The richest people in the world promote it and fund it. It's not done by the ordinary person. So that already is a red flag there.
They've got their own agenda, that's for sure.
Own agenda, absolutely. Okay, second paragraph there. Digital ID is being defined and implemented today. We recognise the importance of swift action to close the gap. Sorry, it's early. It's 4:30.
It is. This is Australia.
Swift action. Hello to all your viewers in South Africa, by the way, and also
around the world.
Australia and the world who may be watching.
Yeah.
Different time zones. And here we have swift action to close the identity gap. Comments ID 2020 Executive Director Dakota Gruner. She's one of the 2 top people in that company. They have a board of 12 directors and a governance structure. We'll look at that as well later. Right. And she's the 2 top. She's featured. She's the executive director, so she's really driving this. And there's a chairman, who's driving it as well. But there's about 12 directors, board of directors driving, and they're all represented from these 5 corporations.
And just to be totally clear, Bill Gates is very, very involved in this whole thing.
Well, one of his Microsoft is one of the 5 founding companies of this organization. Right. And so that's a big one, yes, absolutely. Okay. And he is driving it, promoting it all the time. He's got a personal blog called the Gates blog. We'll get to that later as well. Have a look at the documents about that. Okay. And he's always driving this ID 2020 thing, yes.
Okay.
And also coronavirus vaccine. Okay, so she's an important person there driving this. Just keep going through that. Go into the next one.
Next document.
ID 2020 and Dr. Microchip.
Yeah.
Have you got that one?
Yes,
Number
I have.
one?
Yep.
We'll
Alliance,
just whip through these as well.
Alliance and Governance, ID 2020 at the top.
Looking at your view, just to let you know that for your viewers that there is a lot of research on this. There's a lot of information. If we don't cover anything or you're not sure about something, you can always look up that article later or the information later. So just to show you the huge process, the huge push of these organisations on the Google and the internet process is so massively promoted. And also the European patent site recently said there was a record number of microchipping patents being filed with the European Patent Office, which is also works together with the World Patent Office as well.
Now, I just want to address those people watching the live stream at the moment. If you have questions that you'd like to put to Teresa, please just put them into the side chat at any time. I'm going to ask the moderators to copy those questions, and once we've completed this live stream, we will then put those questions to Teresa. So just feel free to post your questions in the side chat at any time. Okay, back to you, Teresa.
Evidence cover. There's a lot of evidence we're covering. We've got to go move on with this.
Okay.
There's a lot. This is world-class research we're presenting.
Okay.
Okay, so just number one, it just shows you there are lots of articles. Go to number 2, Doc.
Okay. That starts with Bill Gates will use microchip implants to fight coronavirus.
Yeah, that was the Biohack Info article we looked at.
Right.
The next article, are they planning ID 2020 as mandatory implants rule as a solution to the crisis?
So I go
it just goes on and on with this, the secondary evidence, the sources of the
right.
journalism for this. Okay, go to the next one, number 3.
Yep. Got it.
ID 2020 Alliance will combine vaccines and implantable ID microchips. That's a 5G EMF organisation. We'll look at that as well, the 5G links with all this microchip technology.
Right.
And there's the ID 2020 Digital Alliance, Identity Alliance, ID2020.org. That's the primary source, which we are going to look at in detail.
Right.
Of board of directors and the 5 founding groups and also the other companies. There are other companies as well driving that as well. And we're going to have a look at that's the primary source. So if you really want to get more information or really get what ID2020.org is doing day by day, this is the website to go to because it's the primary source website.
Right.
Again, another secondary source are Bill Gates and the ID 2020 coalition using COVID-19 to build global surveillance state. Okay, here Dr. Microchip is a PhD scientist, like something like 3 decades of research work. She's a world-class researcher that they jailed for 5 days arbitrarily because she proved in 2011 that viruses were in vaccines.
Right.
And so she has a lot of videos out there now, lots of interviews. They are attacking her work. YouTube is taking off a lot of videos that are discussing this issue. And but see, YouTube's owned by Google. Google owns YouTube. It's globalist.
Right.
So they don't want to be talking about the truth and presenting evidence. We're presenting evidence here. These medical people, there's other medical people as well presenting evidence. This doctor is a big one. She has 30 years of research in this area, worked for governments, worked for universities, worked for, all sorts of organisations. Right. So she's a big one to watch her work.
Right. Now we've got about 700 people.
This lady should download them because they take them off the internet.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
We've got about 700 people watching, just so you know.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Also, this interview we're doing now, you should download it and keep this one, all your viewers, because this one is going to become big with the evidence that we're presenting here.
Right.
And we need to preserve our work. And, you know, if they take it down at this spot, you put it back up at another spot. And these videos need to keep putting up, and then they're more likely to reach more people.
Well, the reason they can't take, Teresa, the reason they can't take down this video is because we have the documents which prove what you're saying. So if you're going to take down something that proves...
This is primary and secondary evidence, and nobody should be taking any videos off that present primary and secondary evidence. Anyone can get, even doctors, and they can get on there and make erroneous claims.
Yeah.
They can make, which they have, and governments, people, politicians and government workers, they can get on there, they can say this, this and this, and it's kept on there because some people accept it as fact and truth, but it isn't. They're lying. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's based in primary evidence and secondary evidence should be kept on the internet, and a lot of other stuff. If they don't provide evidence, I'm sorry, you shouldn't look at their work. You shouldn't even listen to them.
Okay,
you know?
Let's get back to this. So we're on number 4. Do we go to number 5 now?
Go to number 5, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that's just some more of the articles.
Okay, and you've got also the actual website addresses where they can have a look at these articles.
Absolutely, later. Look up anything you want later, take a note, whatever, write anything down. After the lockdown, a global coronavirus vaccine program. Yes, that's already being funded. Some of the universities that we'll look at are also doing clinical trials already. So they've had this thing, coronavirus, going since, I believe, since the 1970s now. And we'll look at patent documents that prove that.
Right.
Okay, ID 2020, again, that article there, what's needed for digital identity in 2020. And again, talking about the bottom one, ID 2020 Alliance launches digital ID program with government of Bangladesh. That's the Gavi founding group, which is one of the digital ID 2020. Going to the next one, number 6. Just Dr. Mikovits there.
Yeah.
How she was in prison. One of her interviews. Go on to the next one.
Next document.
Number 7.
Okay.
Again, just more articles about ID 2020. It's a big one to keep an eye on. But go to the primary website for that one to really know what's going on with that.
Yeah. But these are all these are all documents that people can go and look up on Google for themselves later on.
Yeah, these are all secondary sources, articles written about ID 2020.
Yeah.
So the best site to go is id2020.org. That's the primary source.
Right.
And they do press releases on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Week by week, so you can keep a running record of where they're up to.
Okay. Now, Morrison 1 I've got.
Oh, okay, yeah, Morrison 1. Just 2 pages here. This is dated 3rd of April 2020. He says that the vaccine is key to easing restrictions. So their agenda is a mandatory vaccination. They've forced a global lockdown and arbitrarily imprison people in their own homes, all for their agenda for mandatory vaccinations and microchipping.
Right. Okay, carry on.
Can we look at the technical first and then do that video? Because,
okay. Yeah.
Because that's closer to the ID 2020 folder that we're looking at.
Okay, sure, we'll do that.
Possible? Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, just page 2, Morrison there.
Okay.
This is Channel 7. He's quoted as saying, the issue is ultimately there needs to be a vaccine. A vaccine ultimately enables everyone to go back to life as it was. In the meantime, we have to be careful that if we are ever to ease restrictions, that we just wouldn't then see a rush on the virus again. It's disgusting what they're doing to jail you in your home over their own forced mandatory vax agenda.
Right.
And the state political leaders in Australia are promoting the same thing. The New South Wales one is. Victoria and Western Australia, excuse me. Not so much yet, but the New South Wales one did already early on.
Right.
And the others, you have to see exactly where they're up with that. But yeah, it's basically all leading to this. Okay, that's it.
Okay, so we go to technical terms now.
Can we start with RFID and NFC1? That's the bottom 4 documents.
Oh, yes. Okay, I got it. Okay, yep. Got it.
There's 4, there's 5 documents there.
That's
we'll
fine.
Quickly look at those. All right, we have to whip through.
So I've got the image of RFID and NFC implants
Yes.
and IOTA, etc.
Just for our viewers, these terms will come up in the literature as you research yourself as well, so just to help you. Okay, the one on the left is the one big one that we want to look at, RFID and NFC.
Right.
Okay, let's go to the next document.
Okay, got that.
Okay, as I said, RFID, radio frequency identification, that's what it stands for. A wireless identification of objects using radio waves. RFID chips that are currently implantable are made up of a non-powered transponder and an antenna that uses power from an RFID reader to operate. They have RFID chips in computers and banking and electronics, and they also have in microchips,
Right.
human microchip. So there's 2 categories there. There's the computer side, which is all the same because they're putting the computer in your body, basically.
Right.
And then the human implant. So this is specifically this site looking at human implants, RFID and NFC implants. And then at the bottom there it says how it works. When a reader is near a passive RFID transponder, it creates a magnetic field that induces a current in the transponder, powering it, transmitting data from the transponder wirelessly to the reader. So these 5G towers and all the technology for 4G, 3G, 4G, 5G is using RFID technology and NFC. NFC is a more modern technology and it's newer. So we'll go to the next page.
Okay.
And the NFC in particular is used in the 5G towers. So there's a very strong link there with the technology. Well, they need these towers, these massive towers to transport this information, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And all NFC chips in humans, and that's how they're doing it.
Okay.
And they're highly radioactive
Okay.
and unhealthy.
I've got the next page up with NFC.
Okay, we're on page 3.
Yes.
NFC, near field communication, is a type of RFID chip. It's more advanced with a slightly higher frequency than a regular passive RFID tags. So there's some more technical aspects about that really you can look at that yourself.
Right.
And then in the bottom box, what can you use your implant for? It allows you to use your implant first and foremost as an identification tag. Again, the identification push. This identification function is usually used by biohackers for access control to open doors. Well, it's used by governments and all these other research centres which are being funded by the globalists.
Right.
And the data storage and information sharing capabilities have been for contactless payment. The banking system uses all this technology as well. For public transport as passwords and PIN numbers, for storing cryptocurrency, which is the Microsoft push, which was that patent that had the 060606. We'll look at that later as well.
Yes.
So these are terms that, come up which are relevant.
Yeah, I can see why the Rockefeller Foundation are involved in this.
Yes. Improvements on this technology lead to a more integrated fusion between man and the Internet of Things. So that concept, the Internet of Things, again, is a body of technology being promoted globally. And as a staple of many, there's just some technical terms, concepts there. All right, let's go into the next one.
Okay.
Number 4 gives a thorough process of how to implant a microchip into your body.
Oh, wow.
So this researcher is really very good. What he's done.
Yeah.
She, not sure, but really good secondary research here. Yeah, so it goes through how the companies insert it. We'll look at the companies that insert microchips into humans as well. They can insert RFID and NFC tags. They use a needle, forceps, lidocaine, ice, whatever they have to put on there to help the process.
Right.
And then it goes through how to inject a microchip into your body. The bottom one, number 5, the last part is gently push the RFID chip or NFC tag all the way into the hole.
Ouch.
So, yeah, there's pretty specific there, isn't it, about it being injected into the human body.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the next one.
5, yeah.
This refers to self-tracking. So the technology is used here as self-tracking for the people that want to track themselves, but also governments throughout the world are using it to track. That's why they're pushing this coronavirus app that they want everyone to download in Australia so they can track you.
Yeah.
Which, incidentally, everyone should leave your phones at home.
Or turn them off.
Yeah. Where you go, if don't get the app, don't get any government injection, don't get the app. And don't listen to what they're doing. They're evil. They should be removed. Okay, also it refers to the Internet of Things. Again, down the bottom, the Internet of Things lives off data feedback loops, and its efficiency relies on machine learning. So, some important concepts there.
Right.
Okay, let's go to, in the technical terms.
Biochip 1.
Yeah, let's just start from Biochip 1.
Okay.
Let's whisk through this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Biochip was created by a man, Stephen Quake, who's a professor at Stanford University, a big researcher. He was given $500,000 as a reward, some award that he was given, and he created 4 companies and 82 patents. The actual company, these companies, I don't have information on, but there's so many companies involved, honestly, hundreds of companies, so we don't have time for all of it. He's associated with Stanford University. Let's go to the next page.
Right. Okay, this is a document.
He created a biochip. That's what he created, biochip. And it says there, what are biochips? Biochips or microchips are small wafer-like components manufactured from substrates such as silicon, fused quartz, soda glass, and plastic. That's what's in it.
Wow.
So when they inject that into your body, that's what it actually is. Silicon, fused quartz, soda glass, and plastic. Let's go to the next page, 3.
Right.
So, going back to this article about Quake.
Yeah.
He's associated with the MIT program, which is Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
That's the one that Gates is funding.
And Stanford and MIT. Yes, he's funded that. And also Gates went to Stanford as well. He has links with both Stanford and MIT.
Okay.
We'll look at the Gates history too later.
Yeah, next one.
Yeah, document 4, yes.
Okay.
This company is a Swedish company. It's a big one, Biohacks International. And just says there, their solution, a small microchip implanted under the skin. This biochip allows them to enter their office, gym or home or unlock their computer or smartphone by simply waving their hand in front of it.
Right.
The man up the top is the founder of Biohacks International. It's a Swedish company. Let's go on to the next document, 5.
Right.
Just quickly again, the biochip implant.
Yeah.
It's the cylindrical barcodes that you see in the pictures. that's the biochip. So these words, biochip, microchip, are used interchangeably. RFID tags as well. Also, there's a specific type of biochip called an NTAG 216, which there are patents for that. And that's, some researchers say that's the specific one they put into humans. The biochip put into humans is called an NTAG 216.
Right.
So we're looking at all those sorts of patents as well later. And this is the man, Stephen Quake. He invented the biochip. Stanford University professor, bioengineering and applied physics.
No, okay, now we're in 6. Okay, so this is Stephen Quake, the guy who invented the biochip.
Stanford University inventor, bioengineering and applied physics. He was given $500,000 prize for it.
Right.
Now let's go to the next one.
Yep.
7. Just a bit more information about Stephen Quake. He's the professor of the university. The companies, 4 companies and 82 patents. You can do further research on this guy if you want to, but yeah.
Okay.
Number 8, he gets a $500,000 prize for his invention. So they throw big money at this, in the millions and billions.
It's peanuts for them.
Yeah, big money. And the universities are all attached. There's certain universities that specialise in biotechnology, and companies, universities, governments. It's all funded by them.
Okay, should we go to 9?
9, yes.
Okay. This is also about Quake.
Yeah, and just 10,000 different measurements at once. So that's how, that's the biochip.
So when it says 10,000 measurements, is that like 10,000 calculations or 10,000 interactions?
Yeah, this chip can make 10,000 different measurements at once.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're planting that into humans.
Wow.
They use it a little bit in the medical sector as well.
Yeah.
Already for 2 decades, the research says.
Okay. Now let's go on to.
They've used in medical practices.
Right. Let's go on to the next section. Is it cryptocurrency we go to next?
Cryptocurrency 1 and 2. Yep.
Okay. Let's go into those. People can do their own research on this stuff.
Yeah, so we got to get through these quickly.
Yeah, because the patents are what we need to look at.
Which is that Bill Gates' Microsoft patent. Cryptocurrency, referred to also Internet of Things application.
Yeah.
So there's that global push Internet of Things. You're just a thing. You're an Internet of Things now. Oh. You're not a human being.
Yeah, you're just a number.
That's how they think.
Yeah.
We are. No.
So go to page 2.
Yeah. Okay. Just looking at the concept of Bitcoin, which is associated with cryptocurrency. So those 2 concepts are important words which are featured in the literature.
Right.
Just quickly read out the Internet of Things in the other page. Internet of Things chips to be incorporated with IoTA are currently in the making, and this is where biohackers, they talk about biohackers, but it's used by governments and universities and everybody.
Right.
Like that one.
Page 3, yeah, human genome.
Yeah, the human genome. This comes up in the literature with some of the companies and universities, and they say it's not owned by you, it's owned by them. It's looking at the DNA structure of the human cell, and they basically think they have ownership to it. It's the study of DNA, and they have ownership. So go on to number 2.
Okay. Got it?
This is a Human Genome Research Institute, and the main goals of the Human Genome Project were first articulated in 1988 by a special committee of the US National Academy of Sciences. So governments are studying the DNA of humans since 1988,
right?
At least, and yeah, they use it for technology purposes.
So this has been in the pipeline for a long time, is what we're saying.
It's at least 3 decades.
Right.
Some of the patents refer to evidence in the 1970s.
Wow.
So, you know, they've been looking at this and funding this for how many decades is that? 3 or 4 decades?
Yeah. Okay, should we go to Microchip 1?
Go to Microchip NTA tag 216.
Yep.
Human microchip implant. Again, FRID transponder. And that's just some of the technical concepts about that.
Yep, I'm on it.
Again, talking about NFC there, near field communication is the modern technology that they use in the towers and the microchips. So NFC is the more modern over RFID.
Right.
And the middle paragraph there on number 2 document, the primary focus on ID and fintech discussions with global actors are initiated.
Right.
So you see how they're concerned with identification, it's all global, NFC standard globally. Okay, number 3 document.
I've heard that Microsoft actually want to have or own the data bank of every human being on Earth through this technology. Is that correct? So you've got to have a computer that actually has the database.
Yes, that would be the ID 2020 work. Microsoft is one of the 5 companies.
Right, okay, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
This is all basically saying that we own the human genome, DNA, we own microchips, biochips, all sorts of chips, and we own it and we own you and we're going to put it into you, basically.
Right, okay. Sure.
And the number 3 document is that biochip, you see, the cylindrical,
and how it gets put in the hand.
Yes, and 10,000 pieces of information instantly.
Wow.
So that's what we're talking about with.
Okay.
It's powerful technology. The most powerful technology on the planet, I would say.
Yeah.
What they're doing with this. Yeah. Number 4.
Yep.
Here's an important concept, the NTAG 216. This researcher refers to it. So this, they're not new. RFID chips are not new. No, they've been around for decades. We are going to talk specifically about one chip, the NTAG 216, being this different from the other microchips of the past because this chip is going to be inserted into humans' bodies. So it's called a biochip and it's also called an NTAG 216.
Right.
So
which is what we can see there.
On that. And there's hundreds of patents on this sort of stuff, so this comes up in the patents.
Okay.
And all right, next one, 5.
5, yeah.
No, that's just again the radio frequency identification. Just going to number 6.
Okay, I'll just leave that there for a second so people who want to can actually view that and pause on the page. Okay, number 6. I'm on there. Again,
it's just the technical terms that are referring the research on the RFID chips.
Right.
If you need more information, go to number 7.
Yep. Okay.
It just clearly tells you radio frequency identification and near field communication, NFC and RFID. So the modern one and more powerful one is the NFC. And
that's why they need G5.
Yes, the G5 is linked to NFC. It uses RFID as well.
Yeah, but the near field communication gives that sort of link.
It's close range.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Within 10 centimeters, I think.
Right.
It has to be within 10. That's why when they have to swipe the hand to get into the building or to process the payment at the supermarket.
Right. Okay.
In near field communication.
Shall we go to 8?
Actually, with the distance, it's up to 30 centimetres. Some of it, I know some other documents said 30 centimetres, some said 10 centimetres. So just letting you know that it's close range transfer of information.
Okay.
Again, just those concepts. We can just whisk through these pretty much. I think we've covered it.
Yeah.
Probably. Go to the number 10 document.
Right.
This company is called Dangerous Things. It's a United States company in Seattle. They're microchipping already. And as you can see down the bottom paragraph, we pioneered implantable NFC and RFID. So you can do amazing things like open doors and log in with just a wave of your hand. So they're already injecting microchips into humans. There's a range of companies that are. We'll look at those later.
Right. And we got
It's
one more.
called Things. That's what the company's called.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Look,
So let's go.
what I might do is just quickly play that ID 2020 video.
Of course, yes.
And just so you know, it'll be it'll go for a couple of minutes, Teresa. So you won't see it, but everybody else will. So I'll say
Sure.
hi, Teresa, when we're back. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to play you a video which will give you more background to how those who are promoting ID 2020 put on their spin that they're doing this for human rights. You have a look at this.
ID 2020 is a global strategic initiative aiming to help deliver against the United Nations sustainable goal of legal identity for all. There are 1.5 billion people in the world who don't have a legal identity. No legal identity means no bank account and social exclusion. It matters to society as a whole. It's incumbent upon those that can to serve those that can't. It's going to be an annual conference up until 2030. There will be a mixture of non-governmental organisations, humanitarian agencies, technologists, innovators and policymakers. Technology cannot speak for itself. It requires innovators to talk to policymakers, and this is a forum at which we can do that. Legal identity for 1.5 billion people is complex. PwC does complex. Where would you start? Well, ID 2020 is simple and smart. The summit will look to examine the issues and to work out whether technology can be an enabler for societal good. Once a person has a legal identity, governments and non-government organisations can help people become safe, part of society, financially included and economically active. By bringing the right people to the table, focusing the debate and thinking of solutions that will affect up to a third of the world. The time is right to start today.
Okay, now for those who watched the video, you'll notice that there was absolutely no reference there to a chip. It was talking about how it's going to benefit so many billions of people in the world. Now, back to you, Teresa. We just watched about what they say ID 2020 is all about.
Okay.
Now we're going to VAX Patents PDF docs, are we?
Yes, and we'll look at ID 2020, the source of their later. We'll look at their websites. So yeah.
Now with these PDFs, do I just start at the top, which is the Pirbright one?
The first one. Let's try and look at it chronologically in year order, perhaps, or try to.
So tell me which one do I go for first?
I think we should start with the Canine Coronavirus. That's the first patent one I could find from 1984 to 1989.
Okay, on the
It's called Canine Coronavirus. Canine Coronavirus.
Okay, got it. Yep. Okay, so I'll just put that up.
Yes.
I'll put the image up first, and we'll have a look at the PDF. Okay.
This is fascinating. This is the European patent site. It's also works in conjunction with the World Patent Site. So you can put up the top a search in any topic or subject or any issue. You can see there, I've put in the word coronavirus, it comes up with 13,240 results.
Wow.
This is the first one that comes up, Canine Coronavirus. This is in the World Patent Research Site. It's a European patent site, but they've got the world function as well. Just quickly looking at this one, then we'll go to the PDF because that's the original document.
Right.
They filed this in 1984, It took them 5 years to publish it. It was published in 1989. You can see at the bottom of the document, it says, attenuated live canine coronavirus may be administered to dogs to produce localized immunity to canine coronavirus in the intestines. The attenuated virus may be prepared by passing virulent canine coronavirus in feline cells, cats.
Right.
They experiment with this. They've been experimenting with this coronavirus concept since the 1970s, but this is the earliest patent I can find on the name. It's listed as number 1 on the World Patent site, coronavirus.
Right.
And they're experimenting, studying it, researching it, pulling apart the virus that is in their laboratories since 1984.
Wow.
So we'll just go to the PDF document now.
Right.
Also, it's translated in other countries' languages as well. So it's actually, they create documents in a range of countries. Have you got the PDF document up?
Yep, I have. Inventor William Acree.
Okay, the American Home Products Corporation filed this patent. Now, to me, this is a little bit suspect because if we look at why would such an organisation called the American Home Products Corporation file a patent on canine coronavirus study? If we go down to the second page,
Right.
Are you on the second page?
Yes, I am. Canine coronavirus.
Background and field of invention.
Right.
It refers to when it was first observed in February 1970 in a US Air Force patrol dog training school in Baden, West Germany. So they first identified this coronavirus, canine coronavirus, in dogs in a US, West German US Air Force, 1970.
Right.
So they identified it in 1970 in a West German US Air Force patrol, site, dog training school.
Yeah.
How did they know about it? They must have had studies on it in that time as well, in the 1970s.
Yeah.
How would they know what it's called or what it is? It refers to that. So there must be evidence on that they know about it, at least since the 1970s.
Right.
Really concerning that it goes back that far.
Absolutely. All right, so where do we go from here?
All right, let's go to the 1993.
Which one is that?
Universal coronavirus vaccine.
Do I go back to microchip patents and
Stay where you are.
Pirbright? Yeah. I've got Chiron and Vanderbilt, and I've got Pirbright patents, as well as canine coronavirus.
Universal coronavirus vaccine.
Okay, I've got that. I'll put that one up, should I? Okay, I've got that up.
Good.
It says international it says CO7K3-100, etc., etc.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay, that was filed in 1992, and it was published in 1993 by a company, SmithKline Beecham, which is a pharmaceutical company. It's a monster. This is a monster company. Look at the dates. It's 1992, 1993.
Right, yeah.
SmithKline Beecham is a United States company. It's a British company. It was formed in 1989 from the merger of a Beecham Group of the United Kingdom and the US company SmithKline Beecham. So it's a US company and a UK company, which was formed from those two companies. They're working together.
Right.
It still exists, but then later on became, changed name to Glasgow, which we'll look at that later.
Yeah. Now, can I ask you a question here? The international publication number. Anyone watching this video can just search on that number and they'll come up with this patent. Is that correct?
If you go onto the European World Patent site, you can put this number in, you can put the name of this patent in, you can put details from the patent in, yes, this number, name of the patent in, and it'll come up with it. It's one of the hundred thousands of coronavirus documents that will come up. So this is a big one.
Okay.
And this SmithKline Beecham, they manufacture and market pharmaceuticals, vaccines, over-the-counter drugs. So it's a pharmaceutical company. Why is a pharmaceutical company inventing and creating patents on coronavirus? Universal coronavirus vaccine, they call it.
Yeah, SmithKline Beecham actually have an office or an office in Cape Town, in South Africa.
Yeah, it's an international company.
Yeah,
they'll have offices in Europe, United States,
right?
Other countries.
Okay.
Now, if we go down the page, it's the abstract.
Yes, got it.
A universal vaccine is disclosed with which elicits a protective immune response in different host species and against different coronaviruses. This is going back to 1993.
Right.
Methods of protecting a host against coronavirus infection are disclosed. Now, kind of go down to the next page.
Right.
Page 3.
Yeah.
Page 3, there's a very interesting facts here. This is a continuation of a patent filed in 1992 and also 1990. So they've been studying and doing this one since at least 1990. If they filed it in 1990, can you see that? Have you got that document up?
Yeah, it's headed Universal Coronavirus Vaccine and then cross-reference to related applications. Yeah, got it, yeah.
First paragraph, filed November 14th, 1990. It's a continuation of a patent filed back then, 1990.
Right.
So to file a patent, they have to have been researching and studying it and, experimenting on it before.
Now,
so it'll go back and forth then.
Now, just a question here. If they've got this patent on a coronavirus vaccine, does that mean that no one else can study coronavirus vaccines, or is it just a particular vaccine that they have created that they've got a patent on?
Well, what they're doing, it's not just the vaccine, it's the virus itself that they're studying and researching, which is in the patent. So they've got thousands of these on the World Patent website. Thousands, as I said, what was it, 13,000 or something that came up when you put the word coronavirus in.
Yeah.
Over 13,000. So there's companies and governments all over the world funding these patents and this research, and the universities. They say, well, they put it in to make a claim on this virus or that vaccine, but they're all doing it. There's so many of them. Right. So, yeah, that becomes a legal problem then if they say, well, we created it, we own it, and then they sell it. It's to sell and manufacture the pharmaceutical. Right. That's what they do it. They try to protect their intellectual property rights, their intellectual research, and their revenue, their profits off it. So, yeah, that's the purpose of a patent.
Is there anything more we need in this PDF, or have we covered it?
Yeah, we'll go on to the next one.
Which is?
The next coronavirus. Have a look at the SARS one.
The one below Universal Coronavirus Vaccine.
It's the next one.
Next, WO2004.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's got 2 SARS coronavirus Chiron 2004.
Okay, got it. It's up there. This is International Patent Classification C12N7-00, or International Publication Number WO2004.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Now, this one is, this patent is a monster as well. This was about the SARS. There's a Chinese patent on this one as well.
Chiron Corporation.
Yeah, we'll look at that in a minute.
Okay.
No, Chiron is American.
Okay. Wow, they've got a lot of priority dates, haven't they?
They've got a lot of what, sorry?
Priority dates. With the patent.
Yes. And look at the dates on these documents.
Yeah, April 2003.
Okay, I've got the SARS one here. Now, Chiron is, this one's related to SARS. They said SARS came out in 2003, and then they created a vaccine in 2006, so they say. I think they created SARS, the US and China.
Yeah. But
and Chiron, the corporation that created this, is an American multinational biotechnology firm based in California.
Yeah. But just
in 2006, it became Novartis, which is a Swiss multinational pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
So a Swiss company took over Chiron in 2006 after they created this.
Now, just to be totally clear, when you said they created the SARS virus, we have absolutely no proof that they actually created it, but clearly they've got a patent related to it.
Well, they've got a patent, which means they don't just patent something out of the middle of nowhere. They've been researching and studying it and looking at it for years.
Yeah.
And it's always the same word, coronavirus.
Yeah. Okay.
It comes up in so many different forms and names and all this sort of thing. So I think they did create it. They know that this word coronavirus has been around since the 1970s.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
What does the general population know about this? I'm a teacher and a researcher, an experienced teacher and researcher, and I've never heard of the word coronavirus.
Yeah.
This is a very specialised form of research that only these medical people or scientists know about, and the pharmaceutical industry is funding it, and the universities working on the research, and the governments that are funding it.
Yep. Okay. All right. So
all of a sudden they say just in the last 3 or 4 months, oh, coronavirus, like it's a new thing, like it's some mad disease or dangerous disease. But they've been experimenting with this word coronavirus since the 1970s.
Right.
So
okay.
they're lying about just about everything.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. So is there anything else we need to look at on this document?
No, we can go out of that one.
Which one's our next one?
Go to the China one, because the SARS has got China patents, and this is very interesting.
So this is the China folder?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it. So do we go to the... Which document do we go to?
Not the PDF, it's in Chinese.
Yeah.
I tried to download it in English. It said English, but it came up Chinese. But at the bottom of it, it's got a table which I found extracted, and it's incredibly interesting. Let's just look at these other documents.
So we're looking at these screenshots.
Let's start with the Academy of Military Medical Sciences.
Okay, I got it.
There's 4 of those.
Yep,
There's
okay.
4 of them.
Okay, there it is.
Now look at the name. Who created this patent? Who's been studying it? Who created this new type of coronavirus?
It says Institute of Microbial Epidemiology, China.
Yeah, Academy of what?
Oh, Academy of Military Medical Sciences. Oh, wow.
This is by the military.
Wow. Okay, so this is a weapon we're talking about then.
Yes. And this is the same one that Chiron was experimenting with, which is the US Swiss company, patented. So they're both doing it, US, Europe and China. And Chiron created the US patent, which we just looked at. This is the Chinese component.
Wow.
Now this is really interesting because for a number of reasons. First of all, it's created by the Chinese military.
Right.
This is what they should be paying us, Scott, millions of dollars for. This what we're presenting.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah.
Look at the dates.
2003.
this first document, there's 4 of these documents. These are very important, these 4. At the top, it's called New Type of Coronas. That's what the Chinese called it. This is the SARS.
Are we still on the first document or document 2?
No, document 1.
Okay, I don't see a reference to SARS anywhere.
Yeah, not yet. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay, so at the top it says New Type of Coronavirus.
Not on
That's
mine.
the patent number. Anybody can search that in the World Patent site.
Yeah.
Anybody can put these 4 patent numbers in there.
You're actually looking at document 2. That's why I'm lost.
It's document 1.
It says abstract. This present invention discloses 1 new kind of coronavirus. Go to your document 2 with the Academy of Military Medical Sciences.
Yeah, okay. New type of coronavirus. 1 and 2 go together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now, something very interesting about this, it does not mention the word vaccine. It only uses the word virus, this China patent.
Right, okay.
It only uses the word virus. The present invention discloses 1 new kind of coronavirus, which is circular, has corona fiber lugs arranged in the peripheral and has diameter da-da-da. The virus is obtained through separating sample of SARS and may be used to inoculate sensitive cell to obtain CPE. The virus can produce specific reactions to serum of clinically diagnosed SARS patent and some kind of SARS virus. Now, can we go back to
the previous one?
Number 1.
Yep, I'm back on number 1.
This is the first patent. They made 2, this Military Medical Academy, 2 patents. New type of coronavirus. Look at the date. They filed it in June 2003, and then it was published the 21st of January 2004.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so that's the beginning of 2004, and it's called the new type of coronavirus. It's SARS. Okay, let's go to document 3.
Okay.
Document 3, look at the top. It's called novel type coronavirus.
Ah, got
It's
it, yeah.
the same.
Novel type coronavirus. Ah, okay, and this is what we've got right now, is the COVID-19 is a novel type coronavirus.
Well, that's what they claim it is. These are slang terms that they use, really.
Yeah.
But the Chinese military created 2 coronaviruses. The first one was, they called it new type of coronavirus. They published that, it was published the beginning of 2004. This one is novel type coronavirus, the same Chinese military academy. Look at the publication date.
Yeah. 2004.
2004. So 11 months later, they published this patent. They were both filed on the same day, on the 12th of June 2003. They were filed on the same day.
Wow. What, in China and
They are basically the same.
Yeah.
But one was published at the beginning of the year, one was published at the end of the year of the following year. They're created by the same organization, the Military Medical Academy of China. And it was actually miraculous that I found the second document, because they're both not publicly listed. They're listed under novel type coronavirus,
right.
I think, or new type coronavirus. I can't remember which one was listed. But if we go to document 4,
right.
Go to document 4, explain that bit.
Yeah, it says novel type coronavirus at the top.
Okay, this is the one published at the end of 2004.
Right.
You see the drop-down box I included there. I went to download it in English, and it came out as Chinese, but this summary is produced in English.
Right.
These 2 documents are the ones we just looked at, the CN117 and the CN146.
Right.
They're put together in the same folder, and they're filed on the same day by the same organisation, but they're only publicly listed, one of them. So if you got to go to this other drop-down box to get this other number.
Right.
So it was a bit of a miracle that I found the second document.
Right.
But they're both, yeah. It's created by the Chinese. It says a similar thing down the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. But what I find very interesting, Teresa, what I find very interesting is that when this virus, COVID-19, first came out, they called it novel coronavirus. That was its original name, was novel coronavirus.
Well, originally they called it coronavirus. Then they said it was the Wuhan coronavirus.
Yeah.
There's no mention of the word Wuhan in any of this primary evidence.
Yeah.
And then they called it novel coronavirus, and then they called it COVID-19.
Yeah.
They kept changing the story all the time. They change it because the public finds out this information, that information, so they lie. They change their lie. They change it, and then they, brainwashing the public. And as people have said to me, "Oh, this is not novel coronavirus that you're talking about. It's not the COVID-19." Look, it's coronavirus. That's the word, and that's the original word that they used for weeks and weeks. Coronavirus is coronavirus. And then they make up all this other stuff as they go along. But when you look at the primary evidence and where it comes from, it's created by the Chinese and it's created by the Americans, and the Europeans are involved. And
Now, I have a comment that I've just seen in the side chat from Philippe. And he's saying, hi, I'm just trying to make some sense of what Teresa is suggesting. Can't quite work out what she is suggesting yet. What I'm getting from what we're looking at here is that the Chinese military are involved in developing coronavirus strains under patent. And here's the actual document where it says the Military Medical Academy of Sciences. Now, why would the military be involved in developing some kind of a coronavirus product under a patent?
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's the point that...
public information. Anybody in the world can get these documents.
Yeah,
and also the Americans are involved as well.
Yeah.
Because through Chiron, they created the patent in 2003.
Right.
Which we looked at the first one.
Okay.
Which is the SARS coronavirus.
Now, what do we go on to next?
In the China folder.
Yeah.
At the end of the first two.
Right.
Where it says 29E, 229E, and OC43.
Yeah, I've got that. Do you want me to put that one up?
Yes, sorry, that's 1 to 5. Well, let's look at that now. 1 to 5.
All right. I'll just get that up now.
Have you got the table there, the diagram?
Yes, I've got where it starts with feline infectious peritonitis virus.
These two, there are two diagrams. They're both found in the China Military Academy patents at the end of the document. The whole thing's in Chinese, and I scroll down the end, and there's these diagrams, which are incredibly important, these diagrams. Look at this. This means the first coronavirus they found was related to cats, feline. And then they've been studying this ongoing since before the canine coronavirus, which was 1984. Right. So the names are important, and the dates and what they create. The Chinese put this in their document, this diagram. Right. And so they've got three there. The canine coronavirus to look for from 1984 to 1989. That patent was filed. Right. So the Chinese know about this, and the Americans will probably. Yeah. The Chinese probably be smarter about it. Perhaps, I don't know. Now it's got human coronavirus 229E. When you put that in the US patent site and world patent site, it comes up with a huge list of patents. In fact, it comes up with 216 patents. Human coronavirus 229E. And when you put in human coronavirus OC43, the one further down, right? You see, you've got the porcine 1, avian, turkey, bovine coronavirus, Quebec, porcine, and then human coronavirus OC43. Right. When you put that in the patent site, the US patent site, it comes up with 190 patents. Wow. And the interesting point about the 2016, the 229E, when you put that in the US patent site, the earliest patent document comes up with is 2001. So that means that the Americans know about it since SARS 2001. That means they were involved in creating it with the Chinese, because to patent a virus or a vaccine or any product, they have to have studied it and researched it and know about it.
Well, you know what I find very interesting is that Dr. Fauci, who's apparently the expert on this stuff, he was the head of the NHS in America, and they paid that laboratory in Wuhan, China, $3.7 million not so long ago, and that's been discussed widely.
Man.
Yeah.
Fauci is corrupt. There's lots of research on that. He's corrupt, and he's been funding all this as well in the government.
Yeah. Okay.
And
let's.
Trump has caught him out, and he's going to get dismissed hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next image.
Yes. The next image, yes, yep.
Okay, so I've got here results of search in PGPub production database.
No, it's the diagram again.
Oh,
it's the diagram.
That second diagram. Okay, yep, let's have a look at that.
Yeah, that proves that this diagram is in both those Chinese patents.
Ah, so this is the other patent.
And not coronavirus.
So one of these was in one patent, and one of these was in the other patent, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
They're both the patents.
Right. Okay.
Look, if you look at these are the coronaviruses that they've been studying and researching since at least before 1984.
Yeah. Okay.
After the human coronavirus OC43, there's a mouse hepatitis virus, murine hepatitis virus, coronavirus. It's all viruses.
SARS virus.
They're viruses.
Yeah.
That they're creating and inventing and patenting and experimenting with, and yes, they create vaccines for them, but they're actually viruses in these vaccines. That's what they are.
Yeah, well, you know what's so nice is there'll be people who have a lot more knowledge in particular areas related to this who can refer to the research that you've done and actually make some sense of this. Okay, let's
I can make sense of it, and this has been used by universities, pharmaceutical companies, law firms, governments, but a lot of people involved in creating this stuff are evil people.
Yeah.
They're not good people, and you can't trust a lot of doctors what they say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're driven by profit and pharmaceutical, injecting humans with microchips and vaccines.
Let's move on to the next document, which is it says anti-coronavirus vaccine.
Actually, if we can just quickly go back to the other one, 3. Sorry, that series, a 229E series. Have you got it there? Because it's got the 2001 down the bottom.
Yeah, look, we'll leave that because I'm not sure where it is. Let's move on to 229E document 3, because that's the third logical one, which is Just quickly
with that.
Yeah.
That's the one that's got down the bottom 2001. That's the other document I sent you to prove that they've been experimenting with this since 2001.
Right.
That's the American.
Okay.
That just shows you that there's 216 patents on the human coronavirus 229E, US coronavirus patents that were in the Chinese document.
Yeah.
So
you wonder what the overlap is, don't you?
They're both involved. They both know about it. They've both been studying and researching this stuff for decades.
Okay, now in document 3, I've got point 206. It says anti-coronavirus vaccine. Do you want to tell us about that? Okay, guys, I'm sorry I've been ignoring you on the side chat, but wow, there's a lot of documents and I have to concentrate on getting the right ones out.
The anti-coronavirus vaccine. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, I did print that one off.
Patent, is that under patents?
under patents, Birthright and other vax.
Oh, okay. Let me just have a look here. Oh, I've got it. Pirbright and other vax. Yes. Okay, which one are we looking at now?
And go Chiron, Vanderbilt, and SARS.
Okay, got it. Now which one do I go to?
Sorry. Trying to get the right documents when we're interacting like this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Anti-coronavirus vaccine.
Okay, the first one. Yeah, I've got that. I'll put that up. There it is. Okay.
Bring that one up.
I have it. This is a US patent.
Yeah.
Dated 205.
They created a patent called an anti-coronavirus vaccine. You see, they've been experimenting with this
Since 2005.
Well, if you look at a date earlier in that document, if you go down the document, there's a date on there, foreign application data.
Yeah, 2004.
What is that date?
August 10, 2004.
Okay, that's the filing date,
Yeah.
August 10th, 2004. But go down a bit further.
Right.
And
Oh yeah, 2001. I got it.
2001, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've been experimenting with this since 2001, an anti-coronavirus vaccine. But yet, see, they've been lying, because then they say, what, end of 2019, 2020, end of 2019, the media started saying, oh, coronavirus, like it was some new thing that they didn't know anything about, and they're lying.
Yeah.
Because they've been experimenting with this for decades.
Well, I think the thing that I find most disturbing in the documents you've shown so far is the Chinese military applying for patents. Clearly that's for using it as a medical weapon.
Yes, but
Or
the
health
Americans
weapon.
are as well, the Europeans.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
All
that's...
these companies and organisations are all using it as a weapon. It's all to do with forced vaccination and all to do with microchipping. And
Right.
they're all doing it. So don't just blame the Chinese.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if...
But they're doing it. So they're all to blame, in my view.
Yeah, we've been going for nearly 2 hours, and I think there's plenty of evidence we've shown related to the patents and so on. Can we go to the ID 2020 now and have a look at that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, there's so much information.
I know.
That,
it's information overload. So where do we?
Well, it's evidence. This is really critical evidence that we're looking at.
Yeah. Now, with ID 2020, where do we start? Do we start with alliance partners, leadership manifestos, or the
alliance partners?
Okay, let's have a look. So, do I pull up founding partners to start with?
Founding partners.
Yeah. Should we start with that?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I've got founding partners on.
Accenture.
Right.
Accenture is an American company. Huge company, heavily involved in funding microchipping. A global management consulting and professional services firm, yeah, right. They're involved in this ID 2020, and that's all to do with microchipping and vaccines.
Right. Now we're talking
and ID interpretation.
We're talking about vaccines that are basically being developed by companies, and the comment has been made that until they've got a vaccine, some form of lockdown is going to be kept in place, and it's like a ransom. Until you've had that vaccine, you've got to have that lockdown. Is that correct?
Well, that's what they're threatening the world with, yes.
Yes,
but
okay.
This is really violent, what they're doing to the public.
Yeah.
Threatening the world with this. You can't move, you can't travel, you can't work, you can't go to the supermarket without our microchip, our vaccine. That's where it's all absolutely heading in the next 10 years.
Right.
And even
okay, now let's go through
now,
these founding partners. So we got Accenture.
Okay. Accenture's American. We'll have a look at that more.
And
but they're a huge company, and they've got huge links with Microsoft.
Yeah. And then we got Gavi.
Bill Gates.
On page 2, we got Gavi.
Gavi is a vaccine company. It's all vaccine, global vaccination. Accenture's microchipping more for banking and identification. This is all vaccine gavi. It's global. And poor nations, they do projects in poor countries.
And what about the Rockefeller Foundation? Why are they involved in this?
Well, they're a globalist organisation. They fund a lot. They're just a very wealthy organisation. Yeah, they're pushing microchipping, identification, vaccines. They're all pushing the same agenda.
Right.
So they're
Okay.
the globalists. They're all identifiable. Their companies, their names, their people. Microsoft is Bill Gates,
Right.
globalist, massively promoting microchipping, forced vaccinations, identification, global identification.
And they've got that.
It's all leading to the mark of the beast, Satan's mark of the beast.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
it's all leading to.
They've got that patent on the cryptocurrency, Microsoft, haven't they?
They have, but it's 060606, but the number itself is not, in my view, it's cryptocurrency is more linked to banking and things like that, which is...
Don't you think don't you think banking and finance is really what drives the world? So it's a critical component. It is.
It is a critical... it's a critical component in the sense that it's all leading to the microchipping 666 of humans, which is all to do with their economic control, banking, supermarket control. Can't go to the shop, can't go to the bank, can't go to work, can't get petrol. Yeah, definitely. It's all definitely the same agenda.
Okay, now the final one we've got under the foundation or founding partners is IDEO.org.
IDEO is also vaccine company, vaccines, global vaccine.
Right.
It's Gavi. It's does a lot of vaccine lives. It says they improve the lives of poor people in poor and vulnerable communities. Identification and vaccine mostly, which is the vaccine is all to be done through the microchipping process. Right. So that's linked to the microchipping process as well.
Okay. Now, Gavi, do we go to Gavi next? Gavi 1 and Gavi 2?
You can do that if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep it in sequence. Okay. So, hang on. Gavi 1.
Gavi 1 and
okay,
2.
There we go. I've got Gavi 1 up now, and it talks about our alliance.
Yeah, just quickly, phase 4, the market shaping goal, the sustainability goal, the systems goal, the vaccine goal. But all four are related to vaccines. If you look at the market shaping goal, all they talk about is coronavirus vaccines.
Right.
It's all coronavirus, COVID-19, vaccines, COVID-19. All these companies are pushing COVID-19, microchipping and vaccines.
Yeah.
And the universities as well, and the companies. Yeah.
Okay, I see on Gavi 2 we have a picture of 4 young children, and then we have headlines: COVID-19, Gavi and UNICEF to secure equipment and diagnostics for low-income countries.
Yes, they're heavily pushing the coronavirus vaccine.
Okay.
Through the ID 2020 program.
Which is where you've got a chip.
Which is one of the 5 founding companies, Gavi.
Yeah.
These 5 companies.
Okay, the strings are starting to draw together now. Now, do we go to general partners next?
Why don't we look at the other 4 companies just quickly?
Okay, all right. So IDEO first.
IDEO, yes, IDEO.
Okay, let me pull that one up.
IDEO is #1 document where they do their work, their vaccination work. It's all vaccinations.
Yeah, and it's
North America, Central, South America, Middle East, South and East, Southeast Asia, West and Central Africa, East and Southern Africa, multi-country.
Right.
It's all vaccination, IDEO. Go to the second page.
Yep, I'm on there.
And that's the push at the moment, obviously, if you have a look at their site. They also do agriculture, amplify, community engagement, early childhood financial inclusion, health and well-being, humanitarian aid, physical products, water and sanitation. So they probably do good work. Some of these organisations probably do good works. But the big problem is the forced vaccination and the microchipping process, which they're all supporting.
Right. Now, should we do...
That's what ID 2020 is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their fundamental principle, their manifesto is the identification of everybody, digital identification of everybody.
Right.
So,
now, should we go to the Rockefeller document next?
yes.
Rockefeller, okay. Okay, I've got the first page up, and it's headed rockefellerfoundation.org, and it says COVID-19 has infected, etc., etc.
Yeah, so they're all about COVID, coronavirus at the moment. I'm going to call it coronavirus because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's not COVID. It's Rockefeller is just push coronavirus at the moment. They're doing National Testing Action Plan, you see there in page 1.
Yeah.
So they're heavily funding and pushing that through the ID 2020.
Right.
This is all promoted by ID 2020, remember?
Yep.
So page 2.
Page 2, yeah.
They've been going since 1913. They're a globalist organisation who funds so-called humanitarian works throughout the world. And they advance, as they say, frontier science, data, policy, innovation, global challenges. But this is funded by, they're funding ID 2020.
Right.
Global identification, global microchipping, global vaccines.
Yeah. I'll just go to page 3 of them. Okay, so we've got there, with partners and grantees, the Rockefeller Foundation seeks to inspire and foster large-scale human impact that promotes the well-being of humanity by identifying and accelerating breakthrough solutions, ideas, and conversations. Don't they put it in such a, you know, it sounds like they're doing wonderful things, isn't it?
They put it in a way that, oh, they're so great and they're saving the world and da-da-da. But they're the world's richest people. They're the world's richest organisations. They are controlling the world's resources. They're controlling the world's economy. They're controlling the world's political system.
Yeah.
These people think they're God.
Yeah, I know.
They do what they want. They say what they want. They fund what they want. And their purposes are evil.
Yeah.
They're not altruistic, benevolent purposes that they have, in my view.
Right.
When they're particularly pushing vaccination, forced vaccination, microchipping, and global identity, global digital identity. To have a microchip put in you to identify you, to, you know, so you identify, but also you can't go to you can't buy and sell without it.
Yeah.
You won't be able to go to the shop, work, you know, study, travel, anything.
Okay, now I'm on page 5 of Rockefeller. Is there anything you want to talk about on that page?
If you go to page 4, they actually funded the Peking Union Medical College Nursery in Beijing, China.
Right.
Interestingly. So the globalists, they all work together.
Yeah.
They all funded a Chinese medical college. That's a US company.
That's the Rockefeller Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4 that is.
Okay, now 5.
And page 5 is again just pushing coronavirus crisis. $17 billion they're going to give to this push for vaccine chipping in the name of their scam coronavirus.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
17 billion.
Okay, now
Essentia, Essentia is a microchipping company essentially, which got biotechnical company. It's linked with Microsoft, so I've got that in the microchip company section.
Okay.
Just stay in the ID 2020 folder.
Yeah.
General partners.
Okay.
Did you want to look at general partners? These are more companies.
Yeah, let's have a look at general partners.
Okay. So you've got the 5 founding companies, and these ones are the general partners. I don't know much about these, but only that they exist and that they're driving and funding this Global ID 2020.
Okay.
So we do research on this, your viewers can.
Yeah, I'll just put this up so people can have a look in their own time.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just. You can always pause the video and just look up for yourselves on these different alliance partners.
Yes, absolutely. So the founding partners, 5 big ones.
Yep.
Microsoft is one of them. General partners, Mercy Corps is a global non-governmental organisation. Kiva, Document 2.
Yeah, I'm actually just running through them so people can just look it up themselves later.
Yeah.
I'm actually on page 6 now. I'm looking at FHI 360 and Barclay.
Hyperledger, iRespond,
Yeah.
Care,
Yep.
Simprints, ICC, FHI 360, Berkeley.
Well, clearly there's a lot going on behind the scenes that the public's not aware of.
Absolutely. All these companies are funding this, driving this ID 2020. Billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars are going into this. Rockefeller put in $17 billion alone.
Yeah. Now, should we look at the leadership next for ID 2020?
Yes. Leadership.
So we'll just start off with the board of directors.
It's 12 board, just really quickly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Board of directors, just flick through them.
Okay, so
The 2.
Dakota Gruner.
Yeah, she's one of the 2 big ones. She's the executive director.
Right.
Driving this. Okay. And the other one, the chairman, is Kim Gagney.
Yep.
Document 3.
Got him. Yeah, board chairman.
He's a Microsoft man.
Ah.
He's a Microsoft man if you look at the description about him.
Right.
From Microsoft Corporate on Document 4. So he's a former Microsoft man or Microsoft man.
Right.
And she's a Gabby Bax person. She was the woman.
Yeah, the first one.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah.
I don't really, you know.
Gagney or something. No, that's a Microsoft guy. Okay, so let's have a look at the third.
She worked for Gabby, the Vaccine Alliance, so she's a Vax pusher.
Yeah.
And he's the Microsoft pusher. So, yeah.
Okay.
They put.
And Blythe.
That they've been working for the corporations for years and years and years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Blythe Masters. She's also a young woman, isn't she? Why are they so young? Are they just family connected to someone who's?
They're probably older than that, but they probably use young photos or something.
Yeah, hey, she seems very young.
They would put people in these board of directors. There's 12 of them. Just flick through them.
Yeah, I've got John Edge.
These company people, they would be with these companies for years and years.
Right. And I got Seth
All
Barkley. He's Gavi's CEO. There you get the link again.
Yeah, he's the Cagney guy. He's the chairman.
And then Ilana Breutman, director of New America, New York City. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the companies they're the directors of, but they're also directors of this ID 2020.
Right. And Oliver.
So they work for they work for these ID 2020 as well.
Yeah. Then I've got Oliver Bussman and Chip Dempsey. Well, that's a very good name to have when you're doing chips, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
He's the Chief Commercial Officer at OCC, the world's largest equity derivatives clearing organization. What would he be involved in ID 2020 for?
Well, derivatives is banking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Well, he must be Rockefeller Foundation.
There's banking links with all this as well.
Yeah, that'd be
economic links.
David.
If you can't go to the shop and go to the participate in the economy without a microchip in the future, you know, they have to have all these specialists there to make sure that it's all. They've got banking people, vax people, Microsoft people, you know, technology people.
Now I've got David. I've got David Treetup, who's the managing director and global head of Accenture's financial services. A lot of financial people involved in this, aren't there?
Yeah, Accenture is one of the 5 founding companies. American is huge. It's a big company, that one.
And Brooke Partridge, who's been, she founded Vital Wave in 2005.
Yeah.
And then Alex Simmons, Corporate Vice President for ID Program Management in the Microsoft Cloud Plus AI Group. So
yeah,
that's,
she's one of the 12 running ID 2020. These are the 12 board of directors.
Yeah.
Dr. Seth Berkley, that's one.
Yeah.
He's pushing the Gavi company.
Yeah. And then we got Dr. Anne
He's the director of Gavi, and he's one of the 12 board of directors of ID 2020.
Right.
Gavi's one of the founding companies.
And I've got Dr. Anne Kavukian, who's recognized as one of the world's leading privacy experts in the creative privacy by design.
Yeah, well, there's no privacy in this system that they've got.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've been through the 12 directors. Now, there's a section called governance. Do you want to go through that now?
Oh, it's fine. It's basically board of directors.
Okay.
They've got more staff. They have the board of directors, and they have a secretariat, and they have advisory committees with a list of people working on that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a huge monster. ID 2020. There's 100 people just involved in the leadership of it.
Right.
Advisory committees.
Okay. Now let's move on because we've been going for 2 hours now. That's okay. If we go to ID 2020, the manifesto, can we do that next?
Yes, just quickly again.
The manifesto 1. Okay.
Just starting from number 1.
Just take us through this.
Okay, this is the technical certification mark they brought up before in that article.
Right.
They issue a technical certification. Keep going. Just go number 2.
Yep.
Pilot programs that they're now doing experimentation.
Right. And page 3 has got the we need to get digital ID right.
Yep. So is that number 4?
Number 4. That's 4. Yeah. We
need to get it right, and vital for political, economic, and social opportunity. So this is how they promote it. And since number 5, document.
Yeah.
Since 2016, advocated for ethical, privacy protecting approaches to digital ID. I don't think you can have privacy with this system. No. Not when it's being run by the corporation.
Yeah. Okay.
And they targeting people, particularly 1 in 7 people, they say, in poor countries who don't have identification.
Yeah.
But they're talking about global digital ID.
For everybody.
It's not poor countries, it's everybody.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at page 6.
Page 6, alliance partners share the belief that identity is a human right and that individuals must have ownership over their own identity.
Okay, page 7.
When they talk about the human genome,
yeah.
When these companies talk about the human genome, they say they own it. Accenture does. We'll have a look at that.
Okay.
Accenture, one of the 5 founding companies, say they own the human genome and it's to be used for the company. There's a document that proves it.
Okay.
We'll have a look at that as well. They're working with the United Nations High Commission, so the UN is driving globalisation, New World Order.
Right.
They're actively working with the United Nations
wow.
on their globalisation, New World Order with this.
A lot of this stuff is dynamite, isn't it?
This is world-class research. This is dynamite. This is this is it. This is now. The next 10 years will be dominated by this. That's it, pretty much.
Page 9 in manifesto, bringing privacy, protecting portable and user-centric digital identity to life. Tell us about that.
Just quickly, sorry, the number 1 manifesto, number 8, the ability to prove one's identity is a fundamental and universal human right. Did you read that?
Yes, yeah, I see that.
See, that's the number 1 priority. It's a human right for them to digitally ID everybody.
So they're basing all their technology on human rights.
On their
that's a front.
Human right to enforce an ID a digital ID and through a certification mark, that's what they conceive as a human right. That's not a human right.
It's crazy. I totally agree.
It's forced on humans, so how can it be a human right? The way they think is satanic.
Yeah. Let's go to
Satan's agenda. They are satanic.
Yeah. Let's go to 9.
Okay, 9.
Bring in privacy.
Yeah, well, it's digital ID, user-centric digital ID. So you can identify yourself if you're inserted with a microchip with ID. So that's how they conceive it. That's their conception of it. But we don't identify like that as a human being. You say you're a human being with the capacity to love and care and think critically and analyse information and live your life every day, do this, do that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's driven by the individual, but this is driven by the corporation's idea of identification and privacy.
Let's go to page 10. The need for good digital ID is universal.
Yeah, universal, and again a human right according to them.
Yeah.
Their conception of, they might as well call it digital human right.
Yeah, exactly.
Not universal human right.
Yeah.
Human right. Now this one's interesting. Number 11.
Yeah.
Look at the bottom of the document. The name Peggy Johnson.
Hang on, I'll just show the document first, and then we'll scroll down to that. People can save this page later or look at it later. Okay, yeah, I've got Peggy Johnson on. Who is she?
This is on the ID 2020 website. Executive VP Business Development, Microsoft Corporation. She's a Microsoft woman. She's a Bill Gates woman. Like that Gagney, the chairman of the board, is a Microsoft man. He's a Bill Gates man.
So ID 2020 is really just an idea that all these big corporations have bought into to chip the world.
They're driving it.
Yeah.
Not just bought into it, they're driving it.
Yeah,
they're
okay.
Driving it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to 12.
Certification mark. There's an application process. It's a digital certification. Companies apply for it, not individuals, companies. And they put the certification mark, digital certification mark, into humans through the microchip process, which includes the vaccine information.
Right, so they're tying the two together.
Yeah, the digital mark, the certification mark is applied for by a company where it's a chip that stores information. When you get your forced vaccine, your vaccine, it's marked in the chip on the certification mark, and there's a digital record of it.
And that's the excuse. That's the excuse they're putting forward for why you need a chip, because you can be shown to actually have had the vaccine, so then you can travel.
Yeah, they know who's got it. That can track people.
Yeah. Who
have it and who don't have it.
Yeah, got it.
So,
okay, so let's go to 13, page 13.
13. Yeah, just again, the digital certification mark, the second paragraph, gives direction to companies' product development roadmaps, steering the market towards ethical, inclusive technologies.
I love the way they use the word ethical.
Just put a big line through that one. Yeah. The company's driving it. They apply for it. There's an application process. They get the certification mark, recording the individual's information, and they insert it into the human body.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at 14.
Yeah, that's just the application form.
Right.
Companies get on here and apply for the digital certification mark to put in the microchip.
And then they can get their staff inserted with one of these chips, can they? So they can get into the building or something.
They can advertise to chip other people, their own staff. Some companies have chipped their own staff.
I see. So
there's a product they can.
Yeah.
Some companies have already chipped humans. We'll go through those.
Right.
And then and they can insert it into their own staff and the public.
Right.
Through the services they provide. You know, you can be chipped for this, so you can have your vaccination record store, your banking details.
Yeah.
You know, anything, getting in and out of doors.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to page 15.
Houses, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, let's move on to page 15, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep going. 16, that's just application.
Okay, so that's the application information. Okay.
Yeah, there's an email, if you want an email,
Okay.
IA2020, and I did email them and they didn't get back to me.
So we've basically covered that. We've got 4 more pages in manifesto, haven't we? Shall we just go through those quickly?
Yeah, oh no, that's all covered. It's all covered.
It's all okay. So we've pretty well covered the ID 2020, haven't we?
Yes, there's a summary there, but that's a Wikipedia summary. We've covered that. That's fine. We can move on.
Okay, yeah. What section are we going to go to next? You mentioned something that you wanted to talk about. How about Gates, Microchip, and Pirbright grants? What's that all about?
Oh yeah, let's have a look at those. Let's go to the Gates folder.
Gates priorities or Gates Pirbright grants?
Gates priorities. Let's have a look at the grants, shall we?
Okay, Pirbright grants.
Pirbright.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, 1 to 11. Let's just whip through these.
Okay, so these are grants. These
a calculator. Get your calculator ready. A little activity for your viewers.
Okay, so we're
going to add up. There's 10 grants that Bill Gates gave to. This is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Medical Foundation.
And the Pirbright, the Pirbright Institute, to be totally clear, is the one that has the patents on the coronavirus.
They have patents on the coronavirus. They have. We didn't actually get to look at those tonight.
Yeah.
Today. They've got 14 patents on the US patent website. 14 coronavirus patents. If you look on the world site patent and put in Pirbright, comes up with 78 patents.
Wow.
Okay. And they've got, starting from 2001 up to 2020, they've got 2 vaccine patents which relate to coronavirus and also foot and mouth disease as well.
Now, Teresa, I've got everybody hanging there with their calculators, so I'm going to run through these documents so people can do the addition. Okay, so we got the first one here, which is okay. So that's the first document, which is $599,945. The second one,
$599,945.
The second one in November 2013 is 100. Well, say 190,000.
Sorry, these are not in date order. Just letting your viewers know.
Yeah.
It's from 2013 to 2019.
Yeah.
Bill Gates gave 10 grants to Pirbright. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just going through them now. There's one here for $1.5 million, October 2015. There's one here for $5.5 million to establish methods for antibody discovery, manipulation, and testing in livestock species. Then we've got another $1.5 million, or $1,474,000, to develop quadrivalent food and mouth disease virus vaccine technology. Then we got over $3.5 million to develop engineered high threshold mosquito gene drives for control of malaria transmitting mosquitoes to laboratory proof of concept. And then we got $837,704 to improve cell lines to increase virus yields for foot and mouth disease. And then we got $3 million to refine a novel vaccine against foot and mouth disease by enhancing the breadth of protection against different virus strains. And then we're back to the first one again. All right. So 10, yeah. So what is the total for all those payments that Gates made to Pirbright?
It's about, well, what did your viewers come up with? It's about $10 million.
Has anyone there done the calculation for us? If they just throw it into side chat.
There's 10 grants from 2013 to 2019 to Pirbright.
Right.
It's about 10 million.
Okay. All right. What do we do next? Where will we go next?
Well, there's other grants that, let's go back to that, just quickly, the grants, Gates grants.
Oh yeah, biotech grants. Yeah, okay, got it. I'll put that up now.
Put that up, please. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so these are the grants, are they? So it says Microchip's biotech.
Okay, the grants, there's 3 grants. $20 million, $20,470 they gave this company. Microchip Biotech, that's number 2 document. Have you got that one there?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
$20 million to develop a personal system that enables women to regulate their fertility.
Wow.
So, globalists, these people trying to control population, they did it through the universities, wanting women to regulate reproduction.
Right.
$20 million they gave to Microchip Biotech, which is associated with MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Right. Let's go to page 3. That's
page 3.
1,570,000 to develop.
1,500,000 again to the same project for women's fertility.
Wow.
It went to Microchip Biotech Inc. And the third one is document 4, which comes under, the search is Microchip Biotech in the Gates grants funding site.
Right.
It comes up with these 3. It comes up with the Yale University one as well.
Right.
$100,000 to do with HIV vaccine trials.
Right.
And yeah, that's the United States University. So.
Okay, now we haven't done Gates priorities yet. Can we go through that quickly?
Yeah, sure. Gates priorities.
Okay, let me just get. So we'll start off with Gates priorities 1.
Yeah, and we'll just whip through those quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
30 documents.
You just comment where you need to. I'm on 1.
Yeah. Biomedical research, that's his priority, biomedical vaccines.
Okay.
Go to number 2.
Number 2, yeah, Bill Gates.
Yeah, Microsoft Corporation, he's the magnate of Microsoft Corporation.
Right.
Number 3, there's a picture of him.
Now let me just pull this down. Page 3, yeah, there's a picture of Bill.
Number 4. It's just information about him. He founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Right. Do we need to go through all these, or is it just basic information?
Some of it's good, yes. Go to number 5.
Yeah, I've got it.
They've got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, an entertainment network company, branded entertainment network. TerraPower is nuclear power. He has a nuclear power company.
Right.
Cascade Investment is, I think, real estate.
Right.
And Technology Advisor, well, he owns Microsoft, so. Yeah.
Okay.
So not just technology, but, you know, nuclear power.
Yeah. Should go to page 6.
Page 7, 6 and 7.
Okay, that's
just
pretty ordinary.
7, page 7.
Talks about Microsoft.
Multinational technology, global technology, we all know. Sure, we can use our computers and everything, but it's done some good work, sure.
Yeah.
But there's also a sinister objective too, in my view, because of what his priorities are.
Yeah.
TerraPower, number 9 document, that's the nuclear power.
Right.
Number 10, Cascade Investment. Just keep going through these.
Yeah. I'll just scroll through them because there are 30 of them and we don't want to spend a lot of time on this. We've got more important.
Yeah, it's a basic overview of Gates' priorities, basically. Yeah. We know just evidence of what his priorities are.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at 15 because it's it's taking we're way after 10 p.m. in South Africa now. Okay, so Teresa, what have we not covered yet that we should cover? I mean, we've got that.
He's got a web blog, Gates Notes. If you want to know what Gates is doing every day, go to his website, Gates Notes, which is in that scroll. It's in that folder. But yeah,
right.
Anyway.
Okay. So.
What have we covered?
Yeah, we've got those 10 folders. Is there any one of those folders you'd like to just go through, which would just give a bit more?
There's links to 5G, but we've mentioned that. Yeah. Also, microchip companies, Accenture, I'll just read them out. Biohacks International, which is a Swedish company. Accenture is USA. These are microchip companies.
Yeah.
Biotech is a big microchipping company, United Kingdom. These are all microchipping companies that are already putting microchips into the human hands.
Yeah.
And to the body for medical purposes, and through hospitals and research and universities and everything. These companies are already doing it.
You mentioned an American patent that you thought would be good to show people. Do you want to tell me where that is? Yeah, remember we were looking at the Chinese patents with the military academy, and you said there was an American patent that we hadn't covered.
There's quite a few. There's quite a few microchipping patents, but there's heaps of them in here. But I think let's talk about the companies. I'll just talk about the companies.
Vax companies or microchip companies?
Microchip companies.
Okay. Okay.
The companies that are already microchipping. Internet of Things, which is a Chinese company.
Yeah.
They're already, they're all microchip companies.
Teresa, I need to go to the little room. Do you want to go through those different companies and give a brief on each one of them until I get back? Yes, Accenture, Biotech, etc. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. Internet of Things. I'm just looking at my computer folder here. Sorry, I can't look at you. Microchip is a US company. There's Proxy Technologies is a big company. Proxy Technologies is an American company, and one of their patents is to do with digital ID. And there's also a tracking company called Mobile T, as a microchip patent that they created. But Proxy Technologies is a bit like ID 2020. They talk about digital ID as a human right, and they're funding basically microchipping of humans already. That's an American company. And 3 Squares Market is the company, a US company that worked with Biohacks International, a Swedish company, to microchip humans since about 2013. That's when that company started. The Biohacks International, which is a Swedish company, was originated in 2013. They've been microchipping, experimenting with that. I think it was over 4,000 people. It was written in 2017. Microchipped in Europe. Yeah, I'm just talking about some of these companies. 3 Squares Market is a US company that microchipped its own employees. That was back in 2017.
Now, I just want to say to anyone who watches this video later, or anyone who's watching the video now, we haven't had time to go through all the patents. What I'm going to do, with Teresa's permission, is put a zip file onto the internet that they can actually download these patents. Are you happy with me doing that, Teresa? So they can
patents folder.
Yeah, the patents folders.
Bombshell folder.
Yeah, the bombshell folders. But it just means that people who, because of the time, I mean, we've been going for 2.5 hours now, people can download that folder, have a look at the patents, which are they're basically copies of the original patents that Teresa's compiled, and they're absolutely extraordinary.
They are the original patents. They've got the companies' names on them and the people who are funding it and driving it. That's the interesting thing about patents. They've got the dates and the company names, and there's hundreds of them.
Okay, well, I'll put those 2 patents up so that people can download the zip files. I'll put the links, I'll put them underneath this video, so you can actually just take that link and download.
Patents and VAX patents,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, that's what I'll do.
Now, we should finish on spot, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, but before you do, guys, I'm sure there've been quite a few questions that people have asked. Please, if the moderators just get ready with those questions, and we'll put them to Teresa in a second. Sorry, yeah, back to you, Teresa.
I was just going to say, if we can finish with the globalist funding, that's a big one. It won't take long.
Okay.
It's who's funding this and how much they're funding.
All right. So we'll start with CV1.
There's 11 documents, CV1, yes.
Okay, I'll start with CV1. Okay, got it up. George Soros, why am I surprised?
George Soros, $130 million to coronavirus, which is all linked to the microchipping through the vaccine system, okay?
Yeah.
That was published in, just recently, April 2020.
Yeah, April the 16th, 2020. Okay.
Business Insider and The Hill published these.
Right.
So, the Business Insider and The Hill.
Okay, now I've got Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey, $3.6 billion, a third of his $3.6 billion fortune. He's the Twitter inventor,
right?
CEO. So these are globalist people, globalists. That's when we talk about the globalists, we're talking about these sorts of people, okay?
I've got a picture of Bill Gates. Who's the woman he's sitting next to?
Well, that's his wife, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Okay, I'm sorry, Melinda. I know Bill, but I don't know her.
That's the Gates.
Okay, I'm on to 4 now.
Okay, yeah, 4. The wealthiest people in the world are spending hundreds of millions to fight the coronavirus. Bill Gates, other names, Alibaba founder Jack Ma, George Soros, one of Hong Kong's richest men, Li Ka-shing. Together, those people have put towards $1.2 billion towards coronavirus funding vaccines.
Okay.
The largest single pledge, Twitter, Jack Dorsey. At the bottom there, Jack Ma, the Alibaba founder, $14.5 million. Next page, 5.
Yep.
At the bottom there, Bill and Melinda Gates pledged to donate $100 million through their foundation. That's in addition to all the grants that they've given for this research on vaccines and microchipping.
Well, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have been funding the World Health Organization a huge amount of money as well.
Yeah, that's all globalization, forced vaccines, chipping.
Yeah.
All these globalist organisations, United Nations, World Health Organisations. There's a memo that came out in 1972 that claims, in the other interview, remember I talked about it, that the man wrote a book and said that viruses are in vaccines, and that the World Health Organization had released memo in 1972.
Right.
Saying.
Okay, now I'm looking at document 6, which says Twitter and Square co-founder Jack Dorsey pledged to donate $1 billion.
Yeah.
We've covered that. And then we've got George Soros, $2 million to do different, I don't know what that's about, 2 different cities. Okay.
Well, he's giving money specifically for, we'll have a look at where his $180 million is going to.
Right.
It's disgusting.
Okay, so we go to 8.
Page 8, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook founder, $25 million. And he's giving it to the Gates Foundation.
Right.
Researching vaccines for coronavirus. They've already got vaccines. Look how many billions of dollars they've put into virus research and vaccine research on coronavirus that we've approved already.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars. These corporations and globalists and governments funding it already since the 1970s.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on to the next page, which is 9.
fashion designer Giorgio Armani gave $1.25 million, US $1.43 million, to coronavirus vaccines.
Okay.
Again, it's all leading towards that.
And then we have George Soros.
$130 million, and global communities amid the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Look at how this is broken up, the $130 million. $37 million to support workers and their families in New York and the US. So they do it for support, but it's all erroneous, right? They created this in the first place.
Yeah.
If you go to page 11,
yep, I'm
$12
on page.
million to emergency relief.
Yep.
$42 million to global partners. And this one gets me, really upsets me, the next one. $9 million of the funding will be directed towards the use of mandatory imprisonment and detention around the world.
What for?
Because they jail people, the politicians use the law, jail people who don't comply with their laws to do with the coronavirus. They're doing it in Australia as well.
Right.
They've got laws like that.
Yeah, okay.
Massive fines, put you in prison if you go and speak out publicly about it in a big way, or
Yeah.
they target you. We've got a rally. We're doing protests on the 1st of July.
Right.
So the 1st of July protests in Australian cities, which I've been promoting, and I created it, but there's people ringing me already, leaders who want to go and speak and help organise it.
Right. Okay.
Community leaders.
No.
And $9 million there is for the imprisonment and detention around the world to do with this. So they've already got laws, massive fines in Australia. Now everyone has to say, don't pay, don't pay, don't pay if the government does fines you for this stuff.
Yeah.
They put you in prison because you won't comply with their laws to do with it.
Right. Okay, now I'm going to ask for people to put their questions into the side chat now, or if the moderators can just post those questions, and I will put them directly to Teresa. As I say, because we've run out of time, basically, what I'm going to do is put a zip file of all the patents. You can go and study them yourselves, find out exactly what's what. I just want to say, Teresa, you've done a huge amount of work, and you know, in some cases we're making assumptions, but I think the overall evidence is quite clear that there's something very sinister going on when you look at what's happening with this coronavirus vaccine and ID 2020, which is a way of basically chipping everybody and then tying the two together. So in other words, we need to have that chip in there so that we can see if you've actually had the coronavirus vaccination, and if you don't have it, then you can't travel or something like that. It's
patents prove that they've been patenting microchip products for at least the past decade.
Right.
And the companies are all listed on those patents. So you can research any of those companies and what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And some of them are on the website openly advocating services to microchip biochips in humans to put it in the human hand.
Right.
Which I've read out the companies. When you went to the toilet, I read out a list of the companies that are already doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Philippe has said, should a suitable vaccine be found, a very efficient distributor would be the World Health Organization, and World Health Organization support and endorsement. He will fund them and oblige them to him. Simple business. Who pays the piper? Okay. Now, Tasneem has asked, what are Teresa's views on a one world currency?
Well, the cryptocurrency system, the banking system, some of these companies, these microchip companies specialize in banking and cryptocurrency. Yeah, it's all leading to a one world economic system. You won't be able to use your bank account without a microchip in the future.
There won't be cash.
No. So in the future, like the Book of Revelation says, what I have to make a video about this, preparing people for it, but you're going to have to pay your rates in advance when they start the forced microchipping process, the governments. Pay your rates in advance, pay your bills in advance, stockpile food for 3.5 years, because that's the middle of the Great Tribulation.
Right.
And then you won't be able to use your bank account without a microchip in your hand, right hand or forward, like the Bible says.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to use your bank account. Yes, it's banking is all in these companies. Some of them specialise in banking. The cryptocurrency, Microsoft created that cryptocurrency patent, which we didn't look at, had it 060606.
Yeah. Well, that'll be in the patents. People can download and they can see it.
And Bitcoin is all banking as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is all related to banking and control. That's what it's actually about. Now,
economic control, political control, religious control, economic control, one world government, new world order.
Yeah. Now, I've got a question here from Property Pie. It says, please ask Teresa who has a patent for 5G.
I haven't got that far in the research. I just put a few 5G links. The links with the 5G is NFC, near field communication.
Right.
Who's got the patent? You can put that in the World Patent site and the US Patent site. Go onto the US Patent site and the European Patent site, which also acts with the World Patent site, and put in 5G patents. If you type in the search section, it'll come up with them.
Yeah.
So that's still to be done, that research. Yeah. Good question.
I've got another question here. Did the Pirbright Institute create the coronavirus, the patent issued in 2018?
Yes, they did. If you go onto the US Patent website and put in the Pirbright Institute, it comes up with the coronavirus 2017, number 6. And here it is right here, which we looked at the other interview, the first interview, remember? That's it there, 2017, coronavirus. The coronavirus may be used as a vaccine for treating and or preventing a disease such as infectious bronchitis in a subject. It was filed on July the 23rd, 2015, but the dates on this one, which is exactly the same patent, coronavirus, it's dated November the 20th, 2018, Pirbright Institute. Hang on. The first one I just showed you, Pirbright Institute. It's one of the 14 patents. There's 2 of them.
Right.
2 patents related to this. On this document, the dates down the bottom, US patent documents, foreign patent documents, 2004.
Right.
So Pirbright involved in the coronavirus patent production since 2004. So yes to that question.
I just can't understand why these big companies would be fiddling with something that can be so dangerous to humanity.
They get hundreds of millions of dollars in funding.
Yeah, I know.
These scientists who are not atheist scientists, there's 2 teams, okay? I'm sorry, I don't want to offend people. 2 teams. There's the God and Jesus team, and then there's Satan's team. And all humans throughout history, since the beginning of time, throughout the world, will fit into 2 teams. That's it.
Yeah.
You either work for God and Jesus or you work for Satan. These scientists are on the Satan team.
Right.
They are doing work, funding this work. They think they're doing it in the name of health and medicine, but they're not. They want to inject vaccines into humans and experiment with viruses. And they admit in these documents that there's viruses, this, pulling apart the virus and da-da-da. And the way you look after your body is not through a virus vaccine injection or any sort of government injection. It's
Teresa,
eat healthy, exercise.
Yeah. Teresa, one of his name is Philippe, and he's a very, very highly qualified physician or doctor, and he's said that in the viruses in the vaccines, to make them work, they've actually got to put stuff that is going to make your body react in a to defend itself, and that's how it triggers itself. So it's a very dodgy thing from the start with these vaccines.
It is dodgy, and if you think it's acceptable as a physician to put viruses in government injections, well, I morally reject that. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of these doctors are pharmaceutical trained in the universities. It's all pharmaceuticals. I was a phys ed teacher for 20 years. You want to look after people's health, you teach them how to eat well, look after their body, exercise. You know, a lot of medical stuff is not medical, not modern medicine, I'm sorry. It's not, yeah, I'm sorry.
A question from Grace Nguechana, who says, how do they roll the bill to make it compulsory? How do we contest it?
The bill?
I think she's talking about mandatory vaccines.
The law?
Yeah.
Well, you've got to get rid of the politicians, don't you? You have to get politicians who won't enforce a vaccination and won't enforce a microchip. You only have to. The politicians they fall into two groups as well. They're satanic politicians, or they belong to God and Jesus. The politician themselves, if you look at what they're doing, if they are trying to force a vaccination or a microchip, you've got to get rid of those politicians.
Right. Okay.
Get politicians. It's not about the bill or the law. It's the person. It's the politician. If they support it or don't support it, get the ones in that support it, promote them, get them elected, even though they've probably got rigged elections and rigged, I think they do in Australia. Get rid of the ones that don't support, that are forcing it.
Now, yeah. Vikings asked a relevant question here, which I'll answer. He says, Scott, if you can provide the reference to the resources of research where the information talked about originated from, it would be appreciated. Now, what I would suggest you do is, hang on, I'll answer this one. What I suggest you do is go through this video after we've actually signed off. Stop on each you can stop on a particular part of the video, take down the information, Google it, do your own research. What I will be doing is I will be providing the PDFs, as I've said a little bit earlier, in zip files that anyone can download and go and see what's going on with the patents that Teresa's come across, and you can then go and actually check up on the legitimacy of these patents by just doing your own research on Google.
The patents, the patents, and not just the PDF patents, there are other patents files as well. There's 2 patents files. Right.
Okay, now I've got a question that's going to really get you going. Jill Mary asks, hang on, listen to me.
And about 20 vax patents.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
There's thousands of them.
Okay, now Teresa, I have another question for you. Jill Mary asks, do you consider, and this is going to get you going, that Gates could be the Antichrist?
I've thought about it. That's a good question. I have, but the Antichrist will be a political leader, I think, from the book of Daniel, talks about the rise of the Antichrist, and the New Testament talks. I made a video on this, actually, about 7 years ago. The New Testament talks about the rise of the Antichrist will be, the book of Daniel says it will be a northern king from the north of Israel, so probably from Russia or one of the states.
Right.
There's going to be a global taxation system implemented before the Antichrist is revealed to the world, and there will be 3 tax kings preceding it. The book of Daniel talks about that.
Right.
So they're political people. It's a politician. It's some leader comes down from the north of Israel into Israel, says, "I'm God," and worship me, take my mark, and da da da.
Okay, now I just want to.
It's evil. He's an antichrist person. The New Testament talks about many antichrists coming into the world. So he's definitely one of the antichrists coming into the world.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but the main one, the big one, is going to be a global political leader, like a Nazi type.
When we got it,
for the first, it will be like a good guy, like a savior. That's what Satan does. He's a copycat. He tricks the world. So he's going to come up like a savior. I'll save the world. I'll save the world. So it'll be like a friendly person. And then that's the first 3 countries, and then the second.
I did warn everybody. I did warn everybody that this would get Teresa going, and it did. Now, okay. A lot of people are saying, do you have a website that they can actually follow you on?
I've got a YouTube channel.
Okay, what's your YouTube channel?
Facebook and YouTube. I've got lots of videos.
Or Facebook. What about Facebook? What's your Facebook? Do they find you under Teresa van Leishout?
Yes. My parents are Dutch. I'm Australian-born teacher, researcher.
So the best way to
go to YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel with my name and Facebook with my name, and all the videos are on there. The biblical videos I've made are on YouTube, my YouTube channel.
Okay,
biblical
guys.
Eschatology. Yeah.
So that's how you can get hold of Teresa is either through Facebook, and I've got her name on the little icon here, and it's spelled correct. I know it's an unusual surname, but if you type that in, you should come up with her Facebook page. All right, if there are no more questions, I'm going to shut down this live stream very shortly, because we're going for nearly 3 hours now, and that's a long time. And you've been doing most of the talking, Teresa, and I just want to thank you so much for all the research that you've done. There's a lot of stuff there that people can go and have a look at and do their own research, and you know, just compare notes with you, basically. So I'd welcome that. Is there something you'd like to say to people who are watching now or who might watch later, just as a final message before I shut down the live stream?
Just to prepare yourself, you know, financially and with food as well. And you're going to have to pay your bills in advance when they enforce the microchip. I've got to make a video about that, preparing people. Grow your own food. Yeah, these are dark times, end times we're living in. Pray for your community and your family. Pray for political leaders to rise up. We need politicians in our parliaments who understand all these issues and make decisions to not enforce it. Yes, and the countries that throughout the world who have those politicians will be attacked by the other countries because they're satanic. Right. But if you want freedom, you want politicians who will not enforce these draconian practices. Right.
Now, I just want to turn my attention to people watching right now and who might watch this later. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. Please remember to ring the bell and click all for all the updates, because I put up videos every single day, and I have a live stream most nights at 8 p.m. and we have some very interesting guests like Teresa. And I think people who follow my channel are learning a lot of stuff that they didn't realize was going on behind the scenes. So
you download it and save it, because it's important, I think, what we've done tonight. So.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, guys, thank you so much to the moderators. Fantastic job. We had up to well over 700 people watching at one time, which is, I think, the highest we've ever had on a live stream, which means that there is a lot of interest in the subject. And thank you for everybody who's joined us, even by the side chat, or just watching the video. I hope that it's been useful and informative to you. And finally, to you, Teresa, thank you once again for coming on.
And thank God, and bless you, and good luck with your work, and yeah, we'll continue to discuss issues in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to shut off the live stream now, because we're just approaching the 3-hour mark, and it's been a long one.